Basics with Premier Dog Training. My name is Samantha, and today we're going to be going over the 5 things that you need to know when you bring home your puppy this Christmas. Now, a lot of people are getting lots of new dogs, whether it's a puppy or you're adopting a dog, and these tips will still apply even if your dog is a little bit older. There are still some things in here that are going to be really helpful for you, so stay tuned and find out what you need to know. The first thing that you need to do when you bring home your puppy or your adult dog is you need to make sure that they are okay with wearing a collar. So for puppies, it's going to be really easy. Let them smell it, put it on them, give them a treat, and just keep it on them. It's going to be really simple for them. For your older dogs, really give them the time to smell it, see what it is, give them plenty of treats, put it on, give them plenty of treats. If they seem really apprehensive, if you go to put it on and they back away, you need to give them more time to do it. If they're growling at you, snapping at you, you need to stop right there and call a professional because you have a much bigger issue. So once that collar is on, you're going to want to attach a leash to it, even for the puppies. Even if the leash weighs the same amount as the puppy, this is going to be a great way to have your dog get used to wearing a leash at all times. For puppies, it's a big safety thing also, because say they start running out the door or they're running to a piece of food that fell on the floor that dogs can't have, you can grab that leash and stop them since they don't have the command set that an older dog does. And so having them wear that leash all the time is going to be, 1, just really safe for them, and 2, it's going to get them used to it, and 3, a lot of dogs get scared with things being dragged behind them or like sounds behind them, and so if they're running around and there's a leash making noise behind them, it's going to make it so that they're not even skittish. So there's multiple benefits to just having a leash dragged behind your dog, and so we highly recommend it. Have them get used to it, and don't be afraid to, if they're going the wrong direction, grab that leash and move them around, because that's how you're going to teach them things when they're older and start teaching them all these different commands, is you're going to be using that leash to guide them where they need to be. So they need to be used to it. So definitely move your puppy around with that leash on and get them used to it. A super common tool people use nowadays is a harness on their dog rather than attaching a collar. And this is a number 1, no, do not do this. The reason for that is harnesses encourage a dog to pull, which is the exact opposite of what we're trying to teach them to do. We don't want them to pull on the leash against us. So having that harness on there and making it super comfortable for them to pull is just going to make the issue significantly worse. In some dogs, it also kind of triggers an aggressive response. They kind of get reared up and they get excited and they just get really energized by it. So harnesses are not the way to go. Do not get your puppy a harness. It's not going to help you achieve the goals that you have. If you're having troubles with your dog pulling, we will have a separate video about that really soon. And so use the tips in there to help with any pulling issues. But again, please do not use harnesses. It causes so many more issues. Just trust me on this one. The second thing that you need to do when you bring your dog home is socialize them. Even during weird circumstances of the world, socialization cannot be stopped, so take all the precautions that you can and make sure that your dog gets socialized. You have a responsibility to this dog to make sure that they have the best life possible, and that includes being socialized. If a puppy is not socialized at a young age, it creates huge issues later on in life that, 1, is going to cost you way more money than it needs to, and 2, it's just going to be completely scary. It's going to put you in danger, it's going to put your dog in danger, and other people and other dogs in danger. So you have to socialize your dog. The best thing to do is, for people when socializing your dog, have your dog approach them. Give them the time to approach them. Not all dogs are people dogs. They don't want to go up and be pet and be loved on, and that's fine. Your dog has a personality. Figure out what it is. However, they do need to be able to have a stranger approach them. They need to be able to smell them and maybe take 1 or 2 pats at the most. And then after that, they can do what they want, but they have to start with that. And so what you want to do is, when you're introducing your puppy to someone new, give that person some treats, let them smell them first, give them that treat, and then the person can pet them, give them more treats, and just really make sure it's nice and positive and happy. If your dog seems a little bit scared, don't go, oh no, it's okay. Be firm in your voice. When we kind of coddle them like that, it lets them know that, oh no, we are in danger, oh gosh, I'm scared, and it makes the issues worse. So be firm in your voice, let them know, no, you're okay, and reintroduce them into that situation and give them some more treats and just really make it positive. You should have your dog meet 2 new people every week up until they're about 5 months old. So go to the park, go to the pet store, just ask people to pet your dog. Everyone wants to pet a dog. It's not going to be an issue. You might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but after a little bit of practice, it's going to become easier and easier. Now, having your puppy being introduced to dogs is going to be a little bit different. 1, you have to make sure that the other dog they're being introduced to is safe. If the other dog has any sort of aggression history I do not want you to take that chance and have your dog possibly have a bad experience with them. So make sure that they are meeting a safe dog that is okay with other dogs, and make sure that they are meeting another dog that, you know, is closer to their age. You don't want your puppy meeting a 9-year-old dog. The 9-year-old senior dog is not gonna want anything to do with your puppy. They're old, they're tired, they don't have the energy to play with a puppy. So make sure you're introducing them to other dogs closer to their age. You know, at the most, I would introduce your puppy to a dog that's 5 years old. Past that, dogs just really aren't interested in puppies anymore, and you're gonna possibly have a bad experience. So introduce them to that other dog. Make sure your puppy is not jumping up in the other dog's face, is not being super annoying, biting at their ears. Make sure that your puppy is being polite, because if they are not, the older dog will correct them, and that's not the older dog's fault. That is your puppy's fault. Keep your puppy polite and teach them what's appropriate when approaching another dog. So if they're climbing on top of them, pull them off and tell them no, we're off, to let them know that this is not acceptable. But other than that, just let them smell each other, see how they like it. If the other dog starts to get upset, you need to take your puppy away and you can try again later, say if it's a friend's dog, or if it's just a random dog on the street, just keep on going. You're going to want your puppy to meet 2 new dogs every week, just like with people. I promise that if you follow this regimen of 2 new people, 2 new dogs every week, your dog will be set up for success and you're not going to have very many problems. Now, there are breeds that are going to have more difficulties than others. Labradors are known to be super friendly with every person, dog, bird, cat that they meet. They're just super friendly dogs. However, Huskies and Akitas, on the other hand, very aloof, very defensive, and they generally don't get along with other animals, so you're going to have more issues. However, that doesn't mean that your dog can't be okay around other animals. It just means that you need to make sure that you socialize them a ton as a puppy. So if you're getting an Akita or a Husky or any other dog breed that struggles with other animals, you need to up that 2 dogs a week up to 3 or 4 and really make sure that they have positive experiences with them. Again, since they're kind of aloof around other animals, they might not want to play with them, but they have to be okay with them. We don't want them to growl, we want them to get upset around them. They just have to be okay with that other animal being around. Now, on the other hand, there are also dogs that are more aloof of strangers. This is going to be your Malinois, your German Shepherds, and others kind of scary dogs like that. The reason why they're scary is because they're usually not properly socialized. So if you are getting a guard dog breed, you want to make sure that you really socialize your dog with everybody. Have the mailman meet him, the UPS guy. They always have treats, and so that's an extra bonus. Bring them to PetSmart, Home Depot, and Lowe's. They carry treats on them all the time, and those are great people, and they are actually looking and inviting for dogs to come, and so it's a great atmosphere to be able to show your dog that not everybody is scary. So socialize your dog. That will save you a lot of heartache in the future. The third thing you need to do when you bring your puppy home is teach them not to bite other people. That's how dogs interact with each other, is they're biting, they're mouthing, and they don't mean to hurt us even though they've got really sharp teeth, but it does hurt and we don't want them to think that that's ever okay, and so they need to stop that immediately. So if your puppy starts biting on your hand or on kids or on a pant leg or on furniture, whatever it may be, there is a lot of skin on the back of their neck. It's called a scruff, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab that while they're biting you. You're going to want to pull until they yipe. I know that sounds horrible. Puppies aren't going to learn unless it's involved with some sort of negative feeling. That's how their moms teach them how to not bite and be annoying with them either. So you're going to want to pull until they have a small little yipe. You'll tell them off, and then as soon as they stop biting you, you'll tell them, yes, good job, good, because they need to learn that they can't do that with us anymore. The same thing goes for furniture and objects when your puppy is chewing on them. Say you come across your puppy chewing on your shoe. What you're going to want to do is you want to approach them slowly. You don't want to turn this into a game of chase. Approach them slowly, grab that scruff, pull until they yipe, pull that object out of their mouth and tell them no or off, whatever word you want, and then replace it with a toy that's appropriate. It's not their fault that they don't understand the difference between, objects they're not supposed to chew on and what their toys are. They smell very similar. Our shoes are made of fabric and rubber, and their toys are made of fabric and rubber. It's very hard for them to tell the difference, so show them what is acceptable to chew on. So take away the object they're not supposed to, give them that scruff and correction, tell them no, and replace it with something that is appropriate to chew on. This is the fastest way that your puppy is going to learn the difference between okay things to chew on and not okay things to chew on. The fourth thing you're going to want to do when you bring your puppy home is desensitization. Now, this is going to include a huge spectrum of things, but here's just a couple examples. Dogs are known to be afraid of vacuums, but why is that? It's because they weren't introduced to it properly. So loud noises, the bathtub, grooming tools, these are the things that we want to desensitize our dog to. And what you're going to do, I'll give the example of a vacuum, is you'll plug the vacuum in, you'll have your puppy approach it, smell it. If they have a good reaction and they're staying around it, give them a treat. If they kind of seem afraid of it for some reason, just bring them back, have that leash on them as you are the whole time, and bring them back to it, give them that treat, and just encourage them that this is okay and tell them that they're good boy if they're having a good reaction to it. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn it on very quick. You're going to turn it on and off just so that the engine starts up a little bit and then goes back down. If they start to run away, just bring them back, pet them, give them a treat, and then when they start to relax, tell them, yes, good job, good boy, and continue to make it so that the vacuum is louder and louder. You have it on for longer, so you'll turn it on, have it on for 2 seconds, turn it back off, and keep going, literally adding a second at a time until they are fine with it being on and they're just around it with no problem. And then you can start introducing movement. That's when you can kind of start moving it forward towards them a little bit, moving it away. You really just want to ease your puppy into this. Have a ton of treats and do this over a course of a week. Don't just think that you can start moving the vacuum towards them in the first day. You're going to want to kind of split this up over a week. Same thing with a bathtub. Introduce them to the bathtub. Take it slow. Slowly turn on that water. Give them plenty of treats. Even if you're not giving them a bath, the point of this is that they're not going to be afraid of things. Grooming tools. A lot of dogs don't like it immediately, and that's because it's new. It's odd, and so do it slowly. Start on their back. Their back is the least sensitive place. You'll want to start on their back, then you'll want to move to the head, then the chest, then the feet, and then their rear end. That's the most sensitive area. They don't like it, and so it's going to be more difficult. But start with the back. You know, whether you have a bristle brush or a long rake comb, or if you need to introduce scissors, nail clippers, just do it slowly. With the nail clippers, touch their foot. Just think about all the things they're going to come across in the world and give them a positive experience. You know, we've got trash bags that are loud, we've got cars that are loud, everything you can think of. There's too many things to name. But if it makes a loud noise and if you think it would be scary as a young, small little puppy, introduce your dog to it in a positive way through treats and through keeping them calm with your own voice and petting them. The fifth thing that you need to do when you bring your puppy home is crate training, and to have a proper crate. Crate training is going to be so vital to setting your dog up for success for potty training, for making sure that they're safe when you're not home, and to help with anxiety. There's so many things that a crate benefits your dog that it's even hard to list all of them. So make sure your dog has a properly sized crate. Now, if you're getting a bigger dog, like say you have this, little tiny German Shepherd puppy, they're going to grow up to be about 80 pounds. So you don't want to start with a small little kennel and then have to keep buying a size up. We're going to pull out a kennel and we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Now, this crate may seem really excessive for your tiny puppy, but I promise it's not. The reason for that is most crates come with a divider like this one. And what you can do is you can just set this right inside and create a smaller space for your puppy. So, when you first bring home your puppy, you're going to only need just a little bit of room. It should only be enough that they can stand up and move around in it. If they have enough space to go, to the opposite side and go potty on it, that's how you know it's too big. So if your dog is really going potty in their kennel a ton, the space is most likely too big for them. And so just bring this in a little bit smaller and make that space smaller. But then as they grow up, you can slowly adjust it and move it, one bar at a time until they're fully grown and fit into this crate perfectly. This is going to be a great way to teach your puppy to go potty because most dogs don't go potty in their beds. If they do, you kind of have a different issue going on, but majority of dogs are not going to go potty in their crate. And this is going to be a great tool to teach you how to train your dog to go potty outside, which we will be covering in a video next week. Another thing you need to make sure that your crate has is some sort of cover. A lot of people don't know this, but having a cover for your dog is really going to help any anxiety issues that they might have, and it's really just going to help keep them calm and just have a place of their own. Dogs are den animals. They like having, 3 sides covered and having it dark and just quiet and all to themselves. So get a cover of some kind that you can just put right over them, give them their own time to decompress and go to sleep, and it's just kind of their own little space right here. They're absolutely fantastic. Again, it's going to help with anxiety issues and just really teach your dog to soothe themselves and to be by themselves, which is a great skill that they need to have. Another thing you need to make sure that your crate has is enough blankets that they stay warm, and usually if you're getting your puppy from a breeder, they'll give you a blanket that smells like their mom, which will help soothe them. But you shouldn't have a huge big fluffy pillow in there. some sort of, small blanket or sheet is plenty enough. Thanks for joining us this week. We hope we've been able to help you out a little bit. The whole month of December, we're going to be doing just puppy videos so that you can be prepared when you bring home your new family member. Other than that, we'll see you in the next one. Knox, can you say bye?